What is done can always be undone.
What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about the brand new series on Amazon Prime called Undone. I'm excited to talk about this show. I need your comments down below. Have you seen it? Were you looking forward to it? And let's get into it. So a woman discovers that she has a new relationship with time after surviving a car accident that almost killed her. It's not very often we get to talk about a show or a movie that is kind of breaking new ground in terms of technology, storytelling, and this is the first ever episodic series to utilize this rotoscope technology and doing it in 8 reasonably length episodes. I blew through this series, 1, because it was so engaging, but 2, I found the entire concept of utilizing this medium, going down the rotoscope route, because I was watching this show thinking, they could have done this live action. They could have pulled it off. They would have needed a bigger budget because you have to have all of the special effects involved with this girl or at least her mind traveling through time. Or they could have went the traditional animation route, or hey, even 3D animation. Rotoscope, if you're going to do that, you're taking risks, you're taking chances. And even though at times I did find it to be a bit off-putting, it took me about an episode to kind of get into the style, what they were going for, and then you have, the mouth will kind of take just half a second to catch up to the head movement, and sometimes looking into something too deep, that's going to bother you. And if you don't like it after about 2 or 3 episodes, I would just say maybe move on to something else, because it's a stylistic choice that is going to turn certain people off. But at the end of the day, I look at the decision that they made and I say, you know what? It actually ended up really serving the story, because this is a stylistic concept, this is a stylistic show, and it's a show that does very many things that kind of suit this style of animation well, if you will. And at the end of the day, the rotoscope aspect of the show worked really well. Austin, what's this show about? Like I said earlier, it's all about a girl who gets kind of caught in the web of time because she gets in a car accident, and the way that they kind of slowly and subtly bring that about in the first episode I thought was genius. But this girl, she's caught in a non-linear time loop where things are happening out of order, but it's not only that, right? It's like she's caught in 2 different worlds almost, and things are repeating. She's experiencing different situations over again, but sometimes when they happen for the second time, they happen differently. She's also in many different worlds, different realities, like I said, but in the main timeline, and that's how we're going to kind of approach it in this review, in the main timeline, her father is dead. Not a spoiler. In this alternate-esque timeline that she continues to go into throughout the show, she is having conversations with her father, and the main goal of this story is to find out what actually happened to her father, who was in the midst of discovering this fairly incredible feat. And the story, the further you get into it, the more you dive into it, the more you're interested and intrigued as to how this is all going to play out and what impact this character is going to end up making on you as an audience member. It really all falls on Rosa Salazar's shoulders now. She should be used to, at this point, playing characters that are animated a bit differently, kind of the motion capture-esque technology, because she was our Alita earlier on in the year, and now she plays the character of Alma. And Alma is a very interesting lead character, and one that you just relate so heavily to because of the emotion expressed and just the natural personality. I mean, Rosa Salazar, and I've been saying it since the beginning of the year, she is one of the best up-and-coming actors there is. So awesome. Love everything about her. Love everything I've seen so far. And she really proves to me in this show in particular that she can handle anything. Tragedy, comedy, she's quirky, she's likable. And one really cool thing about the rotoscope animation, to go back to that, is that it does nothing but adds to the realism of the expressions and the nature of it, because if we went the traditional animation route, I don't know if I would have seen as much expression in the characters' faces. Then you have Bob Odenkirk, who plays the father in Jacob, and Bob Odenkirk, you know him mostly from Breaking Bad, but he's venturing off and doing many things in the film industry right now. He's a pretty big star. It is kind of funny because you take him from, especially from Better Call Saul, he's kind of in the prime of that character right now. You kind of pluck him out of there and you place him in this show, and he's essentially the same character with a completely different backstory, but his mannerisms, the way he goes about things, and his explanation of, hey, here's what's happening to you. You are not, you're not normal. And she is going through this, trying to figure out, okay, what is happening to me? What does this all mean? How am I going to solve the death of my father? But it's not just, oh, I'm solving the death and I don't have a way. No, she is communicating with him the entire time, and her family members and that dynamic, they're all trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with Alma. What actually happened in the midst of that car accident that really changed everything for her? And that is the center of emotion in this show, and it really does bring a lot for all of the characters. I love the relationships, I love the dynamics, and at times, and my big complaint about this series is they do kind of veer into the melodrama a bit more than I wanted them to. There's, of course, her sister who is having a bit of a fallout with the guy that she's getting married to, and she's trying to figure out if the relationship that she is in is worth staying in. And then there's a point when there's a bit of an exchange and there's more of a partnership between her and her boyfriend, but they're still trying to figure out, do I want to stay with you, or do I want to continue in the rut that I'm in throughout my entire life? And that's kind of the string that her father Jacob is pulling on as he's explaining to her, okay, you have two options. You can stay in the rut of your normal life and continue on the path that you were on that you clearly do not want to be a part of, or you can travel to all of these places and feel other people's emotions, but you have to remove yourself from the path that you were on. It's an interesting confliction. It's interesting to see which route she ends up choosing, and it's interesting to see how her family members and how her friends are all reacting to her, in their mind, kind of losing her mind. But even with all of these time travel elements and her having these abilities when she can feel the pasts of others, and you'll get into that in later episodes, it really is just about family and, competition between siblings, trying to figure out your own life and escaping from this cycle that really, at the end of the day, we're all on, right? If you look at the show from that perspective and you can feel the emotion from the characters and you relate to this tragedy in the midst of this family and even the fallout with her father, yes, but it's what's happening currently with her relationship or situation. Once again, it was an easy watch. It was a brisk watch. I loved the animation. Ended up serving the story tenfold, and Undone is a show that I'm going to recommend to almost everyone. There's some really cool things in here, especially when you look at how they handle time travel. I'm going 80% for Undone on Amazon Prime. The first time trying rotoscope in an 8-episode series. I think you guys absolutely pulled it off, and the talent in this show. Daveed Diggs is in there as well. I didn't have a big presence, but I really enjoyed this show, guys. Such an easy watch. Thank you so much for watching this video. More series and movie reviews to come. Going to try my best to go watch The Goldfinch and have that review for you. Oh boy. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you very soon.